It is rightly said by the Dalai Lama, the natural environment sustains all the beings universally. A very warm welcome to all the speakers, co-moderators, participants from across the globe. I, Mohit Shah, welcome you all in the fourth session of ICST 2020 International Conference Post-COVID Economic Reform. I'm extremely honored to introduce the panel of speakers for this session. The organizers, Touriosity, is honored and grateful in welcoming the speakers for this session. The first speaker on the panel is Mr. Marcin Stanek, Associate Professor and Vice Dean for General Affairs, Faculty of Transport and Aviation Engineering, Silesian University of Technology, Poland. We welcome you, sir. The second speaker is Grzegorz Skrzyński, Associate Professor, Faculty of Transport and Aviation Engineering, Silesian University of Technology, Poland. The organizers and the participants welcomes both the speakers. But before I request the first speaker, Mr. Stanek, to start his deliberation, I'd like to provide a short introduction on behalf of the organizers for the participants. Yes, sorry for the technical default. Mr. Stanek is Associate Professor as well as Vice Dean for General Affairs at the Faculty of Transport and Aviation Engineering of Silesian University of Technology. He is the author and co-author of more than 100 articles, including articles, scientific journal, and chapters in monographs. He has conducted many scientific and research works, manager of international project within the scope, Sustainable Logistic and Supply Chain in IRANET Transport Program. His research interests include modeling and optimization of transport system, signal processing, and applying of neural network in the area of transport infrastructure monitoring, as well in the field of traveling comfort. With this, I will now request the first speaker for this session, Mr. Stanek, to go ahead with his deliberation. Over to you, sir.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I would like to show my screen. Could you? Okay. If you see my presentation?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'm welcome everybody, and I'm very happy that I can be here on the second conference, international conference on sustainable tourism. I am representing Silesian University of Technology, Faculty of Transport and Aviation Engineering. And today I would like to present some results of project which I was a manager. And the title of the presentation is Sustainable Transport in the First and Last Mile in Supply Chain. Of course, it's a result of the S-Mile International project. Before I start my presentation, I would like to say that presented research has been financed from the means of National Center of Research and Development as the part of international projects of air transport share, 3, sustainable logistic and supply chain, and the title of the project is a smart platform to integrate different rail transport means, manage and foster first and last mile in supply chain. The acronym of the project is smile. So we keep smile. And after I start my presentation. At the beginning, the agenda of the project, so we have some introduction. After that, I show and present the idea of a Smile platform, idea of the project, and after that, I describe two tools, which was realized in a project by Faculty of Transport of Silesian University of Technology. Of course, I give some information about the rest of the tools, which are important also to create the project. So I describe as my load condition tool and as my visualizer tool. And after that, I finish my presentation with some conclusions. So about introduction, we must remember that the basic assumption of the freight forward and transport companies is focus on transport within the different area, combining the point exchange of goods. We must remember that now the green ecological criterion is marginalized and was overlooking the planning of use models of transport and road its cues. Of course, we need to change the thinking and we will change the behavior. So we need to promote pro-mobility solution also in transport, in mobility, and in freight transport also. The decarbonization of the transport sector is a main challenge for the whole world. For instance, electric vehicles are more efficient from an energy point, more economic in terms of consumption, and more environmentally friendly compared to internal combustion engine vehicles. And nowadays in literature we can find a different issue, different point of view. First one is proper location of distribution center. It is important to minimize cost, of course, but simply the assumption of deliver directly to the customer. And the second is issue is related with supply chain. So the most important is looking for answer how to optimal connect deliverables. So it's a huge problem. Generally, we have many tools, many applications which offering routing service, but I think that many of them skip the pro-ecological solution. Sorry. So we must change it and click and build something new. And also the area of logistic and supply chains have the following issues. The difficult in integration, different transport modes into one supply chain, multi-aspects issue of first and last mile, of course a lack of transport availability, problem of optimal matching of the road from loading to individual reception and opposite, of course, lack of transport planners. We don't have the best planners. We want to create a new solution. We try to find the best tool. And neglect analysis of freight transport quality at the planning stage. For example, we don't use the data of traffic congestion, of conditions of pavement. Sometimes the data are not used by the planner. But we want to create something new. We create something new. So at the moment I say some sentence about SMILE platform, about this solution. So the idea of project was to create an integrated system of tools utilized in following steps to supply change with foster for the freight transport development. Of course, our solution, our platform supports optimization of the supply chain, multimodal transport, reduction the emission, stretch, noise and congestion, improvement of transport quality, but of course with take into consideration the high effective and development routing optimization algorithm. So I think that I can say that the goals of the platforms are related with sustainable logistics in smart cities. There is pre-calculated solution for urban area and give the positive effects to logistic, especially on the first and last mile. And of course, the title of the project was Smart Platform to integrate different freight transport means, manage and foster things and last mile in supply chain. And the project was realized under the Sustainable Logistic and Supply Chain competition with the framework of Around Transport 3. We have, of course, a consortium, international consortium. We realized the project with partners. We have partners from Spain. It was 2 factories, Cytec and Factor, big institution. Factor creates some analysis for environmental, so it's a good partner in the project. Also, we have Delft University, which gives the scientific view in the project. We also participate with in a consortium with +1, -1. It was a CMA from Turkey. And of course, Silesian University of Technology, of course, we from Poland, the Faculty of Transport. So we can see different country. So I must say that economic, social, and geographic diversity of the project partners was add value when we create the case study of the project. And what we have in the structure of the SMILE system, because the acronym of the project is SMILE, but the platform with the tools has the name SMILE SIS, is a system based on client-server solution. With interface, web-based interface dedicated to user. Now we have some picture of the project. We see at the cloud with the system, and after and below we have local authorities, clients searching for the last mile freight companies, and of course the freighter companies, and of course all the elements, all the users of the clients are located in the city, in the smart city. So in the project we have 6 6 tools as my simulation tool, as my visualizer tool, as my market tool, as my transport planner, as my freighter tool, as my management tool. The tool was created by all part of the consortium, and I say some word about this about that tools. So the first is as my transport planner. It's the main solution, the main application, the main element of the system. It is responsible for planning, for create the connection between points. Of course, in that transport planner, we can optimize transport of the freight transport by many criteria, like distance, like time, like green criteria. Yeah. So we want to find the best road with small or less environmental, and of course we want to create some solution to find the best transport quality, for example, for the road in the good condition. Of course, we also have two tools which was dedicated to freighter companies, and they use it. It was freighter tools and management tools. In the tools, companies, the clients, freighter companies, the clients of the project can build a road, can analyze his information about order, and after that can manage his freight transport. Of course, it was a tools because we divided some part of software to the mobile phone, and some part of we want to create on the computers. So we divided that part of platform. Of course, we create some S-Mile market tool, but it's like it's a tool like a normal, because like a normal market tool which we can find in the world. It's a not maybe I can say that not a new solution, but it was important to create and to build interaction between clients, freighter company, and local authorities. Of course, the two tools, simulation tool and visualizer tool, was built especially for local authority, because the two tools give information local authority how to, for example, the freight transport distribution is have been done in city, for example. So we can visualize more information. In the next slide, I present the visualization tool. And for example, the simulation tool give information what we can do to change some solution in the projects, not project in city, of course. We can create some new roads, we can create some new points, and traveling station, for example, and see what we can change, how we can change the road of transport, or of freight transport, of course. Okay, so the concept of the project, freight transport, of course, is transport as a key module, and the criterion is minimize the distance, time, and the emission, and additional road condition traffic data will be taken into account in the routing algorithm, of course. So, it's a concept I said about it, and please look on the slide. And now we have map with the road red and green. Of course, some point when we want to transport freight transport, and please look that we can change the road, take the main road, and eliminate sometimes the road without eliminate road which are in the cities, which are the road on cities, when we have a very big problem sometimes with transport, and we use a green road when we have a main road, and we don't have to create big noisy, because we can use it the road outside the city. Of course, in implementation, we have the goal that we must use the devices like smartphone and tablets, and it is important, for example, for the drivers, which can give information and give the information how to create it. Okay, I have information that should be faster. Okay, so of course we can be faster and okay. So I think that I should start to talk about road condition tool. So it's a mobile application, which will give information about quality of road. We can create parameters from the shocks on the road. We use linear acceleration, and of course we use GPS to create information about the trajectory. So we create the tool. The tool is divided on the two sections: RCT mobile and RCT server. For example, is some screen to present how it works. We have road network. Yeah, we see it, and some vehicles. The vehicles are equipped with mobiles. With mobile, we have two applications: general mobile app for smartphone and the road condition tool. So the drivers give up the information, how they work, when they travel, when they transport the tours. Yeah, so we can describe, so we can see how the transport is realized, and also we can navigate the drivers. Okay. What is the next? Okay. How I can, whoa. Okay. How it works, of course, we have a mobile phone and RCT server, so we connect the data about the trajectory, and data about location, and the information about the operator, about the company, transport company. We connect the data and set it to the server, ICST server, Of course, we can use GPRS data, or of course we use Wi-Fi solution. Okay, and what we have is a sum screen of application road condition tool. We have the screen action. Yeah, we can put the button and we can register the trajectory, of course. And what we have, we can use the application in two forms. For example, we can use it that we can create the solution, yeah, and we create transport, freight transport. And okay, it's next one. It's operating of road transport, how it works, but I skip it. It also some information about how it's work. It's information that we can do it by manual mode and remote mode. So in the first option, the driver must click it, use it, the buttons, and then the remote mode we can be the application we control without the drivers. So it's a solution. Okay. And there's some information about the file, how it works, yeah, but I skip it. There's some information about the server of the data. The server is for collected data from RCT mobile mode in vehicle. The server represented by the aggregated data and data simulator visualizer tool. Okay, the information about the transport. We see the road in city, for example, and we can analyze, for example, on the slide, linear acceleration. Please look how the differences on the picture, so we can say that how the comfort of the passenger and also the quality of road is for the freight transport. Okay, now we have some information about the same, for example, but we have a constant part of road section. It's information how it works in the car. We have example of the measurement. The smartphone is mounted in the vehicle and give information how it's work. It also some information about the acceleration, yes, and the results after the using algorithm. We can see the quality of of freight transport. We can say that which road is better for transport when we have the value equal 1. Near the 1, we have a road. We have the road network with the bad condition, so we must use different road, other road with the road assessment index near to 0. Yeah, of course, you also some information about data of survey. I'll skip it, of course. It is a summary of the information, but I don't have that time. And now I show some information about visualizer tool. I skip because I want to see you only the main slides. We have the information what we had presents on the project. We can to find the road condition, traffic congestion, vehicle distribution of load masses, emission impact, daily nodes of certain climate change, so we can analyze how we change the city and how we can change the behavior to create more green solution. So it's crucial for the, I think it could be crucial, for example, for the tourist element. Okay, so now we have some screen of SMI Visualizer tool. We have, of course, the web pages. On the web pages, we have some criteria and set of data which we can set. Now we have information about road condition. Please look that sometimes the road are green, so it's correct, but sometimes in the part of the screen also the road are in red color, so the quality is not good. So sometimes we should change the road of freight transport. Of course, it's on the screen we see also the interface, but I don't have any time to present very detailed. Now we have information about also in the SMI Visualizer tool on describing the traffic situation, so we can see the road and the traffic congestion on the road. The red road, it's a road in city with speed limit, and we can find the road when you have on the road first you have a traffic congestion. So we can use the SMI Visualizer tool in ITS system. It's a normal, and we can create the interface between this application and the standard of systems. Yeah, some standards of ITS system. So it's not a problem, and we can give information to local authorities. It's not a problem, and maybe the conclusions of the projects is a good idea to support planning and realization of the transport, as well as shaping people connected with transport of goods. Stakeholders of the platform, like customers, drivers, freighter company, will be educated in spring of sustainable development. Of course, for us, it's the important is to promotion the environmental friendly behaviors in the city. Of course, it's also important in tourism that we should promote environmental friendly solutions. It is very important. Of course, planning and organization of freight transport as the result of a platform operation reduced the negative impact on an environmental with assumption of no increasing of cost. Okay, so this is the last slide. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Stanek, for such a wonderful deliberation. So this was DSc PhD Marcin Stanek, Associate Professor and Vice Dean of General Affairs, Faculty of Transport and Aviation Engineering, Silesian University of Technology, Poland. There are some questions for Mr. Stanek, but we'll be waiting for a while. After the second deliberation, we'll be taking up the question. So on the panel, the second speaker is DSc PhD Grzegorz Serpinski, Associate Professor, Faculty of Transport and Aviation Engineering, Silesian University of Technology, Poland. But before we go ahead, I would like to introduce with a short profile of Mr. Serpinski. He is Associate Professor at the Faculty of Transport and Aviation Engineering of the Silesian University of Technology. He is also the Head of Department of Transport System and Traffic Engineering and Rector's Proxy for the Priority Research Area, Small Cities and Future Mobility. He is the author and co-author of over 230 publications, including articles in scientific journals, chapters in monographs at home and abroad. Scientific editor of several monographs, he has conducted scientific and research works. In his scientific interest, he combines the problem of road traffic engineering, including traffic analysis and forecasting, modeling of transport system, and optimization of transport network, with shaping travel behaviors in city. We welcome you, Mr. Sarvansky, and now it's over to you. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the introduction. Thank you also for the opportunity to speak today during this conference. I would like also to show some slides. Okay. Do you see these slides?
Yes, we
Hello?
see.
Okay.
Yes, we see.
Thank you. Today I would like to present also some results of, about another international project which we are realizing here in Poland. Electric traveling planner as a support for promoting environmental friendly mobility. And during this presentation, I would like to tell a few words about the environmental friendly mobility, and after it about especially electromobility and our tool which we prepared during the international project. Before I start with the main information, the general definition about sustainable development, one of them, of course, but very important. There are two fundamental assumptions in the sustainable development which we should remember. The first one is the concept of needs. We have to realize some research, and after we will get information that there are real need to do something, we should do it. And the second assumption is related to the limited capability. We have to remember about the limitation of natural sources. And the second assumption is also strongly related to the technological development. So in cities, authorities of the cities have different policy, and some part of them is related to the transportation. And one of the main direction of the policy, transport policy in the cities, was to increase number of traveling person by using public transport. Pandemic time changed this situation because from one day to the another, immediately we get information about danger of the COVID-19 pandemic time. So the cities currently have problem how to move enough persons from one point to the another by using the same public transport or maybe another means of transport. And because we realizing some international project related to electromobility, we also include some information to travel by using other means of transport. So in the main situation, we have a specific traffic modal split. We have here traveling by foot, we have traveling by bikes, by motorcycles, and etc., by using public transport and by using car. Car as personal car may be divided as a petrol car and the electric car. So here we have at the slide the new element, electric car as a possibility to move also, and the main element of the project we realizing to promote this type of traveling. During the days, each of traveling person must decide which of this mean of transport should choose to travel from one part of the city to the another one. And of course, local authorities want to help with this decision, and in most cases they want to promote the public transport. But as I said, pandemic time may change this situation a little. And here on the next slide, we have the problem identification. In Europe, we have some European documentation, some guidelines which said that mobility limitation is not an option. So we should change the transport means to the more cleaner, more greener, with reduction of the negative impact of the environment. And the corrective action which we may realize is to give the traveling person alternative energy, for example, electric energy, and I will my main elements of this presentation will be related to this energy. And of course, we have a lot of different technical specification of the plug, how to charge this electric cars. So we need to also prepare some standardization of them. And when some electromobility policy appear in Europe and in the world, many people said why we should use this type of means of transport. It is with a strong limited, we do not need this innovation. But what we can see on this slide, we already using this means of transport in many cases. For example, in electric bikes, in electric motorcycles, in electric cars, of course, even in electric planes. So it is not a new idea. And at the next slide, you can see that it is really not new idea. Here we have examples of electric cars from the beginning of the previous century. At the beginning of the previous century, there were electric and petrol cars, and the petrol cars wins, we can say. But now we trying to introduce one more time this solution in the cities. By the way, you can see here the range of that cars. It is maybe not very huge for the contemporary solutions, but when we assume that it was at the beginning of the previous year, 160 kilometers is a very long range for that car. Here at the next slide, we have some barriers which we should break when we want to implement electromobility to the cities. So the first part of the barriers is related to the infrastructure. The first thing is the too small numbers of the charging stations. The second thing, very important also, the location of the charging station should be more intelligent, more related to the real needs, like in the definition of the sustainable development. The next part, we have problems with the vehicles because of the small range or without charging. And the very important barrier is a social barrier because of the high cost of the electric car. Still, we have problem with this in Europe, especially in Poland. And the last part of barriers are related to the standardization of the plugins. The next one, we should include this type of cars inside the modal split of traffic in the research literature, because we still using a car as a the last one from this list is the lack of the travel planning information, which could be interesting for the users of electric cars. For example, because of the small range of the electric cars. And we want to support electromobility in the cities by using our European project. And a few more slides to show the, for example, limited range of the contemporary vehicles. We have a lot of different types of plugs and different standard of them. At the next slide, we have examples from Europe. Of course, from year to year, we can see and more charging stations, especially at the a few countries like the Netherlands, for example. But we have here examples from the also other parts of the Europe, and we also can notice that in Poland we have also from day to day more and more charging stations, but still too small number of them exist. And what we can say, what is the difference between the previous and this slide? Here, in close to each of the charging station, we have electric car during the charging process. So the charging stations are located in a very good places. Here in Poland, we have still problem with the proper location of the charging station. And the second thing, of course, is very small number of the electric cars still in Poland. Here at the next slide, we have some transport accessibility analysis from the two cities. The first one is The Hague from the Netherlands, and the second one Budapest from the Hungary. As you can see here, there are a lot of charging stations, and they are very good location from the accessibility point of view, because especially in The Hague, they are very close to the all places of the city. In the Budapest, they are very close to the places in the city center, but there are also a lot of them. What is important to have also opportunity to charge the electric car very fast, because when we plan a longer trip, it is not alternative for us to wait a few hours for charging en road. So this is very important to have opportunity to fast charge this car. In most cases, contemporary cars have allows us to recharge in the 80% in about half of hour, but it is important to have places where we can charge these cars very fast. And finally, some information about the electric traveling project and especially electric traveling planner. Here we have, I will change the place of this. Okay, here we have some scheme of the electric traveling system which we want to introduce to the local authorities, city authorities. They may use it to better decide about the electromobility implementation in the city, especially related to the location of the charging station. We have some model to it, ET Charge. It is the interface of it. We can, by using some factors from this area, we can see where is the best location of the charging station, the first one and the lower one, also slower one. We have here models which support the simulation of traffic and which allow us to compare the scenarios of the electromobility implementation. And here is the element which I want to tell you about it, is the electric traveling planner. Here we have interface of it. This planner is different than another existing ones because it helps traveling person not only to get information how to use public transport or how to drive from one to another point by using our personal car. This planner allows us to get information about all possibilities to travel in some area. So inside this planner we can put a lot of data, of course about public transport schedules, but also about the charging station location to help the person which want to use electric car with traveling. This planner includes also, of course, other personal means of transport like bikes, motorcycles, and etc. But what is important, it allows us to plan traveling by using also city rental systems like bike sharing or car sharing, and give us a lot of information about all of this possibility to travel. By the way, this project is financed by the from the Poland side by the National Center for Research and Development, and here we have some partners of this project. The leader is from the Spain, this Scitec engineering company. The next two partners are also from the Spain, Factor CO2 and Deustotech University, and we have two other countries, Hungary and the university from Budapest, and the two partners, the company Overmorgen and Technological University of Delft from the Netherlands. Of course, the consortium may share the experience by themselves, and it is a very good opportunity to get better results with the cooperation. And the ET Planner, here we have some more information about ET Planner. This planner allows us to, as users, as the traveling persons, allow us to plan the fastest road, but also the shortest road. but also we can take into consideration the cost of the traveling, and also what is important, the emission of the so we can reduce the negative impact of the environmental. The next element inside this planner allow us to prioritize some area or some roads inside the city, and we can use it, for example, to implement the green areas, which may allow us only to use the electric cars, for example, public transport and bikes, but not for the petrol cars. But this functionality function we can use also in the another purposes, like during the pandemic time. We can set the prioritization inside the city and set some area which is more infected to the another parts of the city or of the metropole, and the users will get the roads which are not across this area, which may be around it. So we can use this function in many other cases. And the last information also important for the local authority is the opportunity to save information from the user queries. Moment, before I will tell you about this, one more slide about the means of transport. Here we have a list of the means of transport which we can use by using this planner. So as you can see here, we can use electric car and get information, if it is necessary, where we should charge en route this car, and what will be the time of charging. But we can use also other means of transport, like bike sharing, car sharing, transport. We can also use the chain of travel. For example, we can start with our personal card. We can use the park and ride system. We can leave our car and go to the destination by using public transport or another solution. So this planner gives cities opportunity to inform the users, the traveling person inside the area, how to pass from the one point to the another in a proper way.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Representative. Actually, we are running out of time, so I will request you to kindly wind up in 1 minute, so that we have a number of questions to be addressed from your end, because many participants have asked questions. So it's a humble request to kindly wind up in 1 minute, if you can. I'm really sorry, sir, for interrupting in between like.
Of course, I understand it. Of course. So
thank you, sir.
I will go to the conclusion. As I said, this planner can save the queries from users, and is also a possibility to use it to better planning the city transport system. And as the conclusion, we can say that to promote electromobility, we require not only the infrastructure development, not only the vehicle development, but also very important are the information to the users and to change the behavior of them, because many times people which using the personal car afraid the electric cars because of the limited range, for example. So thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for opportunity to speak today.
Thank you, sir. We are extremely honored on behalf of Team Touriosity. We are extremely honored for your participation and deliberation. Now it's time to take up the questions as posted in the chat box. I'm not following any order. We are trying our level best to answer every question from the end of the speaker. But due to lack of time and one more session post this, we try to restrict to a number of questions. The first question is from the username is Mac. And the question is, what is the percentage of clean energy deployment in transportation sector in Poland and in Europe? I would request Mr. Staniak to kindly address this question. What is the percentage of clean energy deployment in transportation sector in Poland and in Europe? Or any one of you can definitely choose to answer.
Okay, I will try to answer. I'm not sure if I could understand this question, but especially now it is very problematic to travel by using this means of transport like rail and the airplanes. Because there are reduction of the number of travelers because of the pandemic time. So we have some limitation of the persons, and it is not good for this sector of the economy, of course. We hope it will change in the next a few months, but we will see. About the road, there are not limitations, so I think we still using in the cities and in local traveling, in more cases the personal cars. Because many of the persons from Poland decide about individual traveling. So when we want to take into consideration the rail transport, of course, it is a similar situation like the air, but the railways we are using not only for traveling, but also in many cases for the going to work. So it is the main I think purpose to use daily this means of transport.
Great. So the next question is from Mir Abdul Sofik, and Mr. Sofik is asking, what is the latest position of tourism? What is the latest position of tourism transportation in Poland? All three, air, rail, and road.
I think he just answered that, Mohit. Maybe you go for the next question, because that's what he just talked about.
The next question is from Michael Tors. His question is, what might be a good solution of one to replicate European transport model in India? If you're looking to replicate the same in India, what can be a good solution? That is a question of Michael Tors. Over to you, sir.
This is very good question, and very difficult, of course. It is not. I cannot say one model of the transportation is the best one, and you should implement it in details. What we can say, it is very important to remember about the definition of sustainable development. We should, firstly, we should make some research and get information about the real needs of the traveling person. When we will get this information, we can decide how to change the transport system. In Poland, in many cities, we tried to increase number of the traveling by using public transport, and maybe last 10 years, by the last 10 years, they changed the modal speed of traffic, and we have good results of this policy. So there are about 25 to even 30-35% of the traveling in the city by using public transport. But currently, because of the pandemic time, there are still the limitation of the passengers inside one bus, one tram, and etc. So it is really a big problem for the public transport organizers how to give the traveling person the opportunity to travel. If they should increase number of buses and increase the frequency of the roads, the trips, or if they should not change anything to reduce automatically number of traveling person by using this mean of transport. So there is no one answer to implement this transport system in another country. It is we need to make some research, and after it it is better to give any advice.
Thank you, sir, for the query, for the answer. And the final question for this session is from Valentina, who is asking how Brussels regulations are implemented into the eco network and smart highways, and if any apps, how easy is to use them by car users and professional drivers. Over to you, sir.
Well, one more time, me. Okay, I will try, but it is not my the main field of research. So I may say based on my personal experience. Yes, they are some. They prepared some guidelines how to change the transport network in the Europe, inside the Europe, and what kind of smart solution include to this, especially for the railways, because it is still in development process inside Europe, and it is technically standardization in very good direction. But related to the highways, well, we have still problem with the, for example, the road fees we should pay to traveling by using some highways, and in several countries we have different standard of this system. So it is a really big problem to traveling but across some countries inside Europe. So it is still in progress, I can say.
Okay, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. So with this, the session comes to an end. On behalf of the organizers and team Touriosity, and on behalf of CS Panjanade, Dr. Paritosh Nandi, I thank both the eminent speakers from Silesian University of Technology, Poland, for taking out time from the busy schedule and deliberating a session on sustainable transportation. With this session comes to an end. Thanks a lot for all the participants, for being patient listener and such active participation. Thanks a lot. Take care. Goodbye.
Professor Marcin and Professor Sierpinski, I also, on behalf of the organizers, I thank you, and I'm happy that Dr. Nandi recommended having you, and this session has really been very useful for the inter-conference. Hope to have you again in future.
Thank you very much. It was a great honor for us to participate in this conference. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Of course, I agree with my friends. Thank you very much. for invitation and for my presentation. I can present my research to your conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.